the best part about fishing is every day is different. You know,
Right.
you're always put different obstacles, and right when you think you know it all, you don't know it. So, you know, you just you take every day like a gift.
Right.
Do your best job that you possibly.
Not everyone enjoys settling in to watch a show about commercial fishing, but when Deadliest Catch premiered, it quickly drew viewers in and kept them captivated. Audiences followed veteran captains like Sig Hansen as they faced the unforgiving Bering Sea, while younger fishermen such as Jake Anderson worked tirelessly to rise from deckhand to captain. Still, one of the most memorable arcs belonged to Josh Harris. Over the years, fans watched him mature from an inexperienced crew member into the captain of the Cornelia Marie, honoring the legacy of his father, Phil Harris. So when he unexpectedly disappeared from the show, viewers had questions. Why did he leave? Was he dropped by the network? And what role did resurfaced allegations from years ago play in it all? Let's break it all down. How Deadliest Catch was born. Long before Deadliest Catch became a global hit, it started as a simple idea. Show people what commercial crab fishing in Alaska is really like. There was nothing glamorous about it, just fishermen, harsh weather, and one of the oldest, toughest jobs on the planet. But that raw reality became the foundation for something much bigger. The series premiered on the Discovery Channel on April 12, 2005. From the very beginning, its focus was straightforward. Follow crab fishermen aboard working vessels in the Bering Sea during the Alaskan king crab and snow crab fishing seasons. Those seasons are incredibly intense and short, meaning crews must work long days in freezing temperatures just to bring in a profitable catch. The title Deadliest Catch wasn't chosen lightly. It refers to the real danger of the job. Even with modern safety improvements, crab fishing in the Bering Sea has historically been one of the most dangerous professions in America. Boats roll in gale-force winds, heavy equipment swings across icy decks, and the water is life-threateningly cold. But the origin of the show wasn't just about danger, it was about people. Executive producer Tom Beers, working through original productions, had spent time filming other Discovery projects in Alaska. According to retrospectives on the show's creation, his crew spent time aboard fishing boats for earlier specials, including a project called Extreme Alaska. Those experiences exposed the team to the intensity of commercial fishing and sparked the idea that a series following this work could resonate with a broad audience. Beers and the production team brought cameras aboard multiple vessels during the 2003 and 4 fishing seasons. Over months of filming, long before the first episode aired, they captured what would become the show's signature style, a mix of raw, unfiltered labor, breathtaking weather conditions, and deeply personal moments between crew members. This early groundwork was crucial. It let the producers understand not just the job, but the culture surrounding it, the brotherhood of crews, the connection to families back home, and the pressure of knowing a single mistake could be catastrophic. When Discovery Channel greenlit the project, Deadliest Catch stood out because it didn't feel like typical reality TV. Instead of manufactured drama or studio challenges, audiences were watching a real profession played out on its own brutal schedule. That authenticity became the heart of the series and helped it stand apart from other programming. The show wasn't filmed in a studio or on calm waters. It was shot right in the middle of the action. Film crews lived and worked alongside fishermen, enduring 30-foot waves, sub-zero spray, and 700-pound crab pots flying across decks. Capturing this required rugged, specialized camera rigs and operators who could handle conditions as unforgiving as the job itself. Early on, the network paired the action with narration by Mike Rowe, whose voice became synonymous with the show's gritty, documentary tone. His narration helped guide audiences through the complexities of crab fishing while keeping the storytelling accessible. When the first season aired, the response was immediate. Audiences were drawn to the visceral reality of the work and to the human stories embedded within it. At its peak, early seasons pulled in millions of viewers per episode, making Deadliest Catch one of Discovery's most successful programs. The show also influenced television beyond its own ratings. Its success encouraged Discovery and other networks to greenlight more shows about real people doing high-stakes work. It helped shift the narrative away from light competition reality shows to ones grounded in professions, environments, and communities that were previously unseen on screen. Over time, the production style evolved. Early seasons focused squarely on the work itself, the danger, the exhaustion, and the physical toll. As the years went on, the show began to emphasize personalities, relationships, and the emotional journeys of the captains and crew. It was an evolution that helped sustain viewer interest long after the initial novelty of crab fishing's danger had worn off. Today, Deadliest Catch remains one of the most enduring reality series on television. Its roots in real work, real danger, and real people helped it break out of the crowded TV landscape and its influence still ripples through unscripted programming more than 2 decades later. The rise of Josh Harris. When Josh Harris first joined the Deadliest Catch crew, he wasn't introduced as a captain or even a standout fisherman. He was simply the captain's son. And yes, we know how uncool that might sound on a boat full of seasoned fishermen, but Josh didn't mind. He seemed very eager to learn, and was ready to begin work as a deckhand aboard the FV Cornelia Marie under his father, Phil Harris. And Phil Harris himself wasn't just any captain. He was one of the show's central figures in its early years, experienced, blunt, and very much in charge. Josh's early seasons reflected that dynamic. He was learning, being corrected, and at times, he even clashed with his father. Viewers watched him make mistakes, take criticism, and slowly adjust to the realities of commercial crab fishing in the Bering Sea. Then in January 2010, everything shifted. During production, Phil suffered a stroke while in Alaska. The event and its aftermath were documented in the series. But unfortunately, he later passed away from complications.
He died in town in the hospital. But he was without oxygen for over 12 hours, so.
It was pretty evident that his passing hit everyone hard, including the audience, who might have never even met him in person before. Phil was kind of like the glue that kept everyone in the crew together. He was the one his team ran to when they came across any problems. He was kind of like the Papa Bear of the group. Just like that, he was gone, and his death became one of the most significant moments in Deadliest Catch history. For Josh, things were different. This wasn't just his captain he'd lost, it was his father too. And to make matters worse, it all unfolded publicly. Following Phil's death, the future of the Cornelia Marie was hanging in the balance, and it seemed like no one knew exactly what to do with the vessel. Over time, however, Josh became increasingly involved in efforts to keep it active. As seasons progressed, viewers saw a gradual shift in his role. He moved from being seen primarily as the captain's son to taking on more operational responsibility aboard the boat. By the mid-2010s, he was regularly appearing in leadership conversations and participating in decision-making on deck. Eventually, he stepped into a captain role connected to the Cornelia Marie brand. In 2020, Discovery expanded its presence further with Deadliest Catch, Bloodline, a series that followed Josh and Casey McManus as they traveled to Hawaii to investigate fishing charts believed to have belonged to Phil. The premise directly connected Josh's professional path to his father's legacy, reinforcing the idea that his journey was a continuation of something that started years earlier. By that point, Josh had been part of the franchise for over a decade. Audiences had watched him begin as a deckhand, experience his father's death, and remain connected to the Cornelia Marie through multiple seasons and even a spin-off. That's why when he disappeared from the show in the blink of an eye, viewers were asking, why? Because when someone who has been embedded in a show for that long suddenly disappears without a formal on-air goodbye, it's never minor. It raises questions, and those questions are what bring us to what happened next. What happened next? By 2021, Josh was still an active part of the Deadliest Catch franchise. The show was continuing into new seasons, and Deadliest Catch, Bloodline, had completed multiple installments, Everything seemed perfect, and there were no public indications that his involvement with Discovery was at risk. Then, in 2022, everything changed. In March, court documents from a criminal case involving Josh began circulating online. But how was this possible? Josh was the picture-perfect image of proper. What could he have done? Well, the case dated back to 1998, when Josh was a minor. And while it's common knowledge that most teenagers do really insane things while they're young, Josh's file was actually insane. The records showed that in 1998, he was charged in connection with an incident involving a 4-year-old minor in Washington state. According to court documents, Josh was about 15 or 16 when the incident occurred.
Everett police confirmed with Harris that those were the suspects, and on Tuesday, Spokane police arrested 29-year-old Jarrell Foltz.
The charges were formally filed, and he was taken into custody as part of the standard legal process. Although due to delays in DNA processing at the time, he was not formally arrested until June 1999. According to court records, Josh eventually reached a plea deal to resolve the case. He pleaded guilty to reduced charges, which included 4th-degree assault and communication with a minor for immoral purposes. As a result of the conviction, he was sentenced to and served 9 months in a detention facility and was reportedly required to undergo a psychosexual evaluation. You might be wondering why a case resolved before the 2000s resurfaced in 2022. The simple answer is, the past always finds a way to spring back up. The real answer is Reddit. While Josh was busy navigating the Bering Sea, a community of amateur sleuths and longtime viewers on the Deadliest Catch subreddit began digging into the backgrounds of the show's stars. And in an era where cancel culture meets high-speed digital archiving, no record is truly buried forever. But what even led to the investigation? The discovery wasn't an accident. It started with a few users questioning the clean image presented by the show's production. On platforms like Reddit, users shared screenshots of the 9080 and 99 filings. These documents clearly listed the charges, the age of the victim, and the final sentencing. Once the screenshots hit the subreddit, they spread like wildfire to other platforms like Twitter and Facebook. Just like that, fans who had supported Josh since his father Phil's passing in 2010 were suddenly confronted with a reality that contradicted the hero's journey narrative portrayed on screen. Once those documents began circulating online, public attention increased quickly. Online discussions questioned why the matter had not previously been widely discussed in connection with his television career. Within days, the conversation spread across multiple platforms, and viewers began tagging Discovery and Deadliest Catch in posts asking for clarification. The aftermath: shortly after the documents gained traction online, changes became noticeable. Episodes of Deadliest Catch, Bloodline, were removed from certain streaming platforms. The series did not receive a renewal announcement following its 3rd season. Josh Harris did not appear in subsequent promotional materials for Deadliest Catch. There was no on-air farewell, and Discovery did not release a detailed public explanation outlining its decision. And because of that silence, many viewers didn't know exactly what to think. Especially because in television production, a cast member can leave a program for several reasons: contract non-renewal, cancellation of a spin-off, internal network decisions, or mutual separation. Without an official statement describing the exact nature of the separation, the public interpretation tried to fill the gap. In this case, the timing was widely noted. The resurfacing of the 98 court records occurred in early 2022. The removal of Bloodline episodes and Josh's absence from the franchise followed shortly after. While Discovery did not publicly outline its internal reasoning, the sequence of events led many observers to connect the two developments. No new criminal charges were filed in 2022 related to the resurfaced case. However, in the current media environment, past legal issues can have renewed consequences when they regain visibility. Following the removal of Bloodline, Discovery was quick to move on. They continued producing new seasons of Deadliest Catch without Josh's participation. The Cornelia Marie vessel even appeared intermittently in later seasons.
The Cornelia Marie is dropping its first pots of the new king crab season.
But Josh never returned as a featured captain since then. So how exactly did the public take this? Public reaction. Let's just say viewers weren't very excited. Surprisingly, the response was immediate and divided. Once Josh's absence became visible and the 1998 court records resurfaced, many viewers didn't know what side to stand on. On one side, many viewers defended him, pointing out that the case had been legally resolved decades earlier and that Josh had served his sentence as a minor. These fans hammered on the idea of a redemption narrative, spotlighting how audiences had watched him grow from an inexperienced deckhand into a captain carrying on his father's legacy. On the other side, some argued that Discovery Channel had a responsibility to act. For these viewers, the resurfaced documents raised questions about the network's choices and whether past actions, even decades old, should factor into public-facing decisions. Comments on social media, fan forums, and Reddit threads showed this frustration, debate, and sometimes even outrage, with users weighing fairness against accountability. What became clear is how internet culture can amplify old cases. Court records that were technically public suddenly spread rapidly through Twitter, Reddit, and fan communities, bringing renewed attention to events that many had long forgotten. Memes, video clips, and discussion threads circulated, making the story visible to a wider audience and intensifying the conversation. In short, Josh's case soon became a discussion about justice, accountability, and how past actions intersect with modern media. You might be wondering, where's Josh today? And just how affected was he by the resurfaced files? Where's Josh today? Josh's exact whereabouts today remain a bit of a mystery. He's always been one to keep much of his personal life private, so much so that many don't even know he has a daughter. Josh's biological daughter, Kinsley Ella Harris, was born in 2013. She's appeared in occasional interviews with her father, discussing life and parenting. It's pretty obvious Josh loves being a dad. He has spoken about being a father and how important his relationship with Kinsley is to him, describing her energy, personality, and what raising her has been like as he balanced time on the water and time at home. When it comes to his relationship status, Josh has been in a long-term relationship with Jenna Boulis, with sources indicating they have been partners for several years and have raised Kinsley together. Jenna also has a daughter from a previous relationship, Kayla Granese, whom Josh is reported to have embraced as part of his family. Although there's no official public record confirming that Josh and Jenna were ever legally married, the duo seems to be doing pretty well as just partners. Because Josh chooses to keep his life very private, there isn't exactly much that we know about where he is today. What we do know is that, as of today, he has not returned to Deadliest Catch, or Deadliest Catch, Bloodline. In fact, he has no current appearances in any ongoing franchise content.
They are part of the business that none of us on the desk could survive. From the Bering Sea to our show, welcome Deadliest Catch captains Josh Harris and Jake Anderson.
And there has been no official statement from Discovery Channel about reinstating him. Episodes of Bloodline still remain unavailable on certain streaming platforms, and promotional material for the main series continues to omit his presence. Beyond his absence from the screen, neither Josh nor Discovery ever publicly addressed the situation in detail. The network still maintains silence regarding the reasons for his removal, and Josh himself has not issued formal comments explaining his absence. From a strictly verifiable standpoint, the franchise has continued with other captains and crews, while Josh's involvement remains paused indefinitely. For many, Josh's story brings up a broader discussion about the intersection of past actions and public life, without needing to assign judgment. His situation raises questions that apply beyond one reality TV show. Can someone's past remain buried once legal matters are resolved? Josh's case had been legally closed, yet decades later, public interest and online sharing of court documents made it relevant again. Does serving a sentence end public scrutiny? The court system may resolve a case, but networks, audiences, and social media users may still evaluate past behavior. In Josh's situation, Discovery's decisions, whatever the internal reasoning, are really just a depiction of how legal resolution does not always guarantee career continuity in the public eye. Some Reddit users speculated that Josh sold his house earlier in 2024, though there's no verified evidence to confirm that. Considering how his departure from the show unfolded and the nature of the past legal issues that resurfaced, it seems likely that he will continue keeping a low profile away from public attention. Josh didn't leave Deadliest Catch with a farewell episode or public announcement. He faded quietly from the screen. Whether it was a firing, a cancellation, or silent corporate distancing, the result was the same. His decade-long presence in the franchise came to an abrupt pause. In the age of social media, the past is rarely fully behind anyone. Court records from decades ago can resurface, audience memory remains strong, and networks respond accordingly. What are your thoughts on this one? Tell us in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this.